Aleximo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 7 of the Crush Card Cup. I'm Aleximo, joined by Joseph Rothschild, MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! Himself, for another electrifying commentary. First off, big shout outs to our sponsors for this free 512 person event, Ultimate Guard, Project CCG, and We Play Games. Be sure to check out their links down in the description for all your card game and accessory needs. But also a big shout out to the Pro Play Tour Weekly Championship this weekend, May 2nd and 3rd, which Mr. MBT and I will be commentating. So if you're looking to get your match featured for us, or if you want to play for some big cash prizing, be sure to check out the links down in the description and enter now, because that is going to be one hell of a time. But for this feature match, we are coming at you with an undefeated match of Altergeist being played by Giovanni going up against Dinosaur being played by Jake. Now, this isn't looking like a good start since Jake just started and passed the turn. This is going to give Altergeist not only a free turn of setup, but also the ability to pretty much just go off here.
Oh yeah, for sure. So if there's any deck that can live through a turn 1 pass, it's going to be Dinosaur. I think that, I wouldn't be surprised. You can scout your opponents for this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dinosaur player knew his opponent was on Altergeist, knew that it wasn't likely they were going to OTK them on the following turn, and said, you know what? I am actually going to pass and then OTK you at my next opportunity.
Let's talk about, though, this is the first time we've seen Altergeist, at least at the feature match table here. It's not bad. I mean, we've talked before, off camera, of course, about some Altergeist that were in, like, the X1 bracket, but this is players are allowed to change decks in between rounds until we get top cut, but I'm not sure if Giovanni's been just riding Altergeist this entire time, but it's pretty cool to see that it's still up here, for sure.
Yeah, Altergeist is kicking. It's fine. It competes with Metaspace, with Eldritch, of course, which is devastating because Eldritch can recur its own resources. But Lost World Dino is a pretty powerful start after making it through a turn 1 pass. And Miscellaneous Source into the token, protect the token, send a baby Ceresaurus is an easy route to Overraptor.
Right, but that's going to be met with Solemn Strike, though. So, I mean, one of the downsides of when you're going up against a deck like Altergeist is that they have these type of catch-alls when it comes to monster effects to be able to handle that. Albeit, they don't always play Strike, but that's a pretty powerful one at that, because that effectively just ended Jake's turn, and now we get to see this Extravagance fire off here.
Well, with a hand that includes absolutely nothing else, I would be shocked if it didn't have a hand trap, and we see Ash come down in response to the Extravagance.
And Dinosaur being a deck that usually is known for going second, it has some going first potential, but that definitely is not nearly as strong as its going second plays, which, it's going to be on cards like Lightning Storm in the main deck just because those cards are just absurdly powerful. But now we're going to get to see Marionetta come down here, just get a protocol set up that could potentially telegraph that we have a manifestation on the left-hand column for Altergeist here. But, I mean, at this point, Giovanni's just getting himself in a really good situation to get set up. He's not out of it yet, but he's definitely on the path to victory for sure.
Yeah, Dinosaur has a lot of little neat interactions against Altergeist specifically, and Altergeist has a couple neat interactions against Dinosaur. Like you said, there's the manifestation, a good call, and with Hextia pointing to a Marionetta, or a Silquidius rather, it's going to be very difficult to resolve the effect of Lost World.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Interesting that Hextia can negate spell effects as well as activations, something that you don't see too often. But for this particular instance, might be something that matters.
I like this, walking into the Miscellaneous Source here with the copy of Link Haribo, and then, linking off for another Hextia. That's going to trigger the Silquidius and Graveyard, put back the manifestation, and enable a double Hextia play.
Yeah, we also get the Hextia trigger as well to get Multi-Faker, which is nice. So that gets us set up there. We get the manifestation back, so we're going to set that as well as another back row. And, you got to be feeling pretty good right now if you're Giovanni. I mean, again, you still got a ways to go, but, I mean, you've got a pretty solid lock on this game.
Yeah, for games that don't include Meluseek in any capacity, this is about as good as it can go. And now we're seeing why this individual was not playing cards. The hand is locked with True Kings. Not a super huge fan of the True King variants of Dino, but they certainly do what they need to, which oftentimes is OTK. Here, it's just going to eat a protocol because the Geist player has already established a board.
Right, and so that Agnimazot is all one effect. Keep in mind, it's not a cost to destroy the monsters, thankfully, otherwise those cards would probably be terrible. We're going to see Hextia come down, or Hextia use its effect in Graveyard to add a Conquery to the hand, and again, we're probably going to see Multi-Faker come down here. Oh, not yet, we're actually just going to wait for the activation of one of our other cards here, but Terraforming for Diagram is fine. Again, it just depends on what he can really capitalize on with it here.
Wait, I like this a lot. Waiting for the activation to fire off this copy of Manifestation doesn't want to necessarily use the Hextia to negate the Dragonic Diagram, but rather to negate the Dragonic Diagram effect.
Yeah, I like that too. So now we're going to get to see the Multi-Faker come down, and now we're going to grab the Silquidius out of the deck to provide a bounce. Hextia can also be a effect negation as well, and this is rough. Dogeron, though, coming down here for the Hextia, so he kind of had the answer. Obviously, there's no way that Giovanni could have telegraphed that or expected that was going to happen, but now we get Lithosogem here.
Well, I don't know about this. I think probably I would have used Silquidius' effect to bounce this copy of Diagram in response to its activation. It's going to go for Petit Pteranodon here and then trigger the effect of Soul Eating Oviraptor as well. This is the only way that the Dinosaur player gets back into the game. The Infinite Impermanence is massive, but not the end of the turn.
Yeah, I mean, he still has options here. We're going to have to see how he decides to pivot at this point. We can just go into Exciton. There's a card we haven't seen in a while. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So we're going to just destroy all cards that are on Giovanni's board. Exciton, an absurdly powerful Yu-Gi-Oh card, even by today's standards. Like, there's not many cards that read destroy all cards on the field.
This is a little crusty. Obviously, Exciton can't use its effect during the battle phase, so you can't threaten the Silquidius and then activate the effect of Exciton. More importantly, you can't get the protocol off of the board until after this is all done, and as a result, he's going to return the Exciton to the extra deck of the Dinosaur player. In compensation, they're going to get a Multi-Faker back to the hand, and yikes. Despite resolving Exciton, the Geist player is still up 4 cards.
I know, and when you're staring down Geist with 1 card versus 5, like, this is when the writing's on the wall. Yeah, you may have the higher life point total, but Geist doesn't win through damage. Geist wins through control, and this is what it does best. So a couple set cards here from Giovanni. We're going to have to see... Jake's going to have to play through a lot here. We do have a Miscellaneousaurus, though, so there's a start. It looks like we're going to go for a banish of 4 to give us an Oviraptor.
There's only 3 in the graveyard. That's miserable.
Oh, but Metaverse, are we going to see a Mystic Mine come down?
That's optimistic. Yes, we are.
It looks like it. I was going to say, what other field spell is Altergeist on?
Secret Village. It's 2017.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, activating Miscellaneousaurus for 4 here to get a Miscellaneousaurus. Obviously, you don't want to exhaust your Oviraptors if they're not going to be able to resolve. There's not a lot you can do here. Gonna normal summon a copy of Giant Rex. I think go into a reasonable enough rank 4 and pray that your opponent isn't able to out it until you find the way to beat Mystic Mine.
I think Dolka's a pretty nice one because if Giovanni does commit anything to the board, then the Dolka does get turned online, and then he will be able to potentially negate it so that Giovanni can't get too far ahead. I think that's interesting. Dolka is just absurd.
Yeah, Dolka is secretly the win condition for Dinosaur. We were talking earlier about Dinosaur's turn 1 plays, and very often they have super consistent setups that end on Dolka plus Pankratops, and since Dolka is like in a lot of ways a more potent Appaloosa, it does win the game against a significant majority of the field. That's why this deck has kind of been seeing a lot of the competitive success that it has recently.
The one thing here that's interesting is that Mystic Mine kind of, while it seems really good, we don't know if there are any outs in Jake's deck, and considering he's a Ghost second deck, there could be main deck Cosmic Cyclones for stuff like Eldritch, so he may have outs. So this isn't this automatic win button like it used to be necessarily, and so now we're going to see the Mystic Mine during the end phase get popped here by Giovanni's own doing. And now we're going to see a normal summon of Multi-Faker here. We're just going to summon this Multi-Faker. Hexia is going to get pumped by its own effect. We're just going to swing over the Dolka and get some damage in here. Very aggressive play here now from Giovanni, maybe realizing kind of almost in light with what I was just referring to.
Yeah, I don't know why you would remove the Mystic Mine, to be honest. You know your opponent has a Soul Eating Oviraptor in the hand. They are going to threaten a massive pop-off on the next turn. You're going to burn a normal summon of a Multi-Faker instead of getting full value from its effect. I can't help but disagree with this line of play.
So now we're going to see Prime Banshee come down here. We're going to get Hextia's trigger here, so we get to get a copy of Manifestation. We get to banish Manifestation to get Protocol.
When was the last time you saw that activated?
I was about to say, it's been a while, so... but, I mean, this effectively answers the Oviraptor because we have Prime Banshee on the field. Manifestation can also get fodder back, so we don't have to use that. Hextia can now be online, too. So, I mean, he might have a pretty good lock on the game at this point, and then... It's like, and then...
and then Lightning Storm.
I was about to say, Lightning Storm would be a way to deal with this.
So we know the Lithiosogym, we know the Oviraptor. Boy, end of battle phase, that would be miserable. Evenly Matched would just clean this board.
Giovanni is saying end of main phase 1. We're seeing if we have any activations here. I think you have to. Like, I mean, you don't really have much choice. Wow, he's going to let it go.
I mean, what do you do, right? What could you possibly do to play against this, provided that you don't have exactly Solemn Judgment?
Wow, okay, so evenly matched. We're gonna see if this resolves here, and it does! Oh my god!
Disaster.
Unbelievable. Okay, so that is just, that is painful. Just when we thought Giovanni had a lock on it, the evenly matched coming down. And again, this is Dinosaur. It's not surprising that this deck is playing this in the main because it's a go second deck. This Oviraptor is now essentially going to be free to resolve because we don't really have any way to negate it. And just like that, Jake might be able to get away with this.
So from here, you can use Miscellaneous Sources effect to get the remaining baby from the graveyard. You trigger the effect of Giant Rex. You can go into something like a Logia. This is the last possible point you can Manifestation for this copy of Multi-Faker in the graveyard. He says, think after, okay. In fact, he's going to go for a Lithiosagam first, sending 2 baby Cerasauruses. I mean, jeez, this is some setup.
Oh my god, so that's going to resolve. We are going to get not only double baby activation, but we also have the Lithosogym activation. We're going to be getting rid of another Hextia.
Was that a Kadolga?
A Kadolga, yes, and the Relinquished Anima. A little bit heads ups because he did place the Lithosogym in a zone that Relinquished Anima could point to, so I guess that's pretty nice. It's also Altergeist's extra deck. They don't play too many cards that are, aside from like Hextia and, you know, maybe Kadolga, I guess. They don't really play too much else to worry about.
You could make Trish here.
We could. So are we going to loop cards out of out of Giovanni's hand here as well? Now we're going to see Manifestation. Interesting timing here. We're going to go for Sulquidius. Sulquidius can potentially bounce something, but is that going to be enough?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, all you need to do is fiend a way to get this Sulquidius out of the game, and you have effectively won. Would be really, really good to make something like a Dolko, which, of course, they're on multiple copies of because this deck is playing Extravagance. And, I mean, what do you do from this position? Ovi effect, target Aeolo, hasn't actually used the Oviraptor effect yet, so going to be able to summon a baby Ceratosaurus from graveyard and pop off further if they so desire.
And, wow, it actually just looks like a pass on the Dolka. I mean, I'm not sure if that was a bit of a misstep there.
Yeah, they're saying I'm dumb. Seems like you probably would want to keep the Aeolo around if your end goal doesn't involve popping more baby Cerasauruses, but hey. What do I
mean,
know?
to be fair, Dolka is a card. Unfortunately, Sulquidius will pretty much be able to eat up this Dolka effect with ease here. Looks like they're resetting something here for a moment. We're going to have to see why. I think they're clarifying which effect is being used. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that's what we thought. Sulquidius was attempting to bounce back, and there's another Mystic Mine. Oh, no.
Yeah, going through this rank 4 setup without ending on something that can out Mystic Mine seems like a pretty big mistake. I mean, oh, yikes. If your opponent passes Prio with you having the ability to do this, I think I would rather see something like a Tornado Dragon even to pop the Manifestation on activation and provide insurance against Mystic Mine. Now, what on earth are you going to do to out this?
Yeah, Jake identifying in the chat here that he thought there was another level 4 in Graveyard for him to resurrect, and that is what he was going for, but unfortunately he did not have any more, and so that was his own misstep. At least he correctly identified it, top decking a Fossil Dig here. Yeah, it's so rough. That slight misstep could have just potentially cost him the game. Again, though, he is playing Dinosaur. He could have main deck Cosmic Cyclones, and it looks like he's going to play it out.
Yeah, I mean, no reason not to. Unfortunately, you are down on cards, so either you're playing the out or your opponent is going to deck you. Lost World is a hilarious way to give your opponents tokens, but you're going to have to link your entire board away in order to get it to resolve.
I mean, will Jake go through those hoops? I mean, he could potentially do it, but we'll have to see here. But here comes Manifestation now from Giovanni. We're going to bring back this copy of Silquidius, and now we're going to, looks like we're going to bounce back the Dolka.
Oh, this is hilarious. You get to use the Silquidius loop to bounce your opponent's entire board, and unlike last time this happened, your opponent doesn't have one monster, so the Mystic Mine won't go to the graveyard if they're negating your Silquidius. He'll be able to just slowly whittle away at the board until the time that they can, like, normal summon a Marionetter into an empty board and take control of the game state again.
This has been one hell of a game. This is only game one.
This is hilarious. I mean, in a real-life scenario, we would probably be going into time game one.
Potentially, yeah, because, I mean, thankfully on Dueling Book, we can skip a lot of the back and forth of just the actions here and the thinking, but yeah, now we're just having the pass back and forth of, the fun of Mystic Mind being active, and look at this, both players just getting tons of cards now, but again, I can't help but feel that there's still a clock here for Giovanni if he wants to be able to come back from this. Just a single Cosmic Cyclone at any point could just be ruinous.
Yeah, this is the point of the game where it's like, do I draw my Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclones before my opponent draws their Solemn Judgments? And we've seen none from the Altergeist player, so honestly, I would consider scooping.
And also, too, I mean, at this point, Altergeist has 5 set in the back row. I mean, even if there was a way for Jake to deal with Mystic Mine, if there wasn't a way for Giovanni to prevent himself from being just killed at this point, I would be genuinely shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be some number of... Oh, a Mystic Mine coming down from the hand as well. Hilarious. I'm shocked that we haven't gone for anything yet. Oh, and now going to Personnel spoofing that card away. Oh, boy.
Ooh, yeah, this is going to be rough, because now we have the Meluseek. Meluseek can start chipping away at the board as well, but we're going to see Manifestation here bring back the Faker. Faker will trigger, get our Konkiri that we just shuffled away. You know, gotta love these neat interactions that Altergeist has. We're going to have Konkiri negate, it looks like, the Lost World. Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of a mix-up there, but now here comes Meluseek.
So you do need to get rid of the Lost World. It's a potential way that your opponent could prevent you from going through necessary plays that will keep your Mystic Mine on board. They can give you tokens, link away their board. It's one of the very few cards that does threaten your board position from here. Looks like we're ashing the Personnel spoofing here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a majority of these Altergeists make their way to the graveyard in the second main phase.
And so now we see Meluseek hitting in for that little 500, but that's perfectly okay at the benefit of being able to send any of your opponent's cards away. But it looks like he's not going to, because again, he is under Mystic Mine, and if he sent any of those monsters away, that would just make it so that the mine would destroy itself during the end phase. And that's not exactly what he wants here. We're going to see spoofing here to get another Meluseek, and compulsory evacuation device bouncing his own Meluseek to his hand.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
I gotta say, I love this game.
It is a little bit of a disaster. This guy says, I don't know, do you play Storms? Are we actually going to be able to resolve this? And discarding a set rotation. No, he drew it in the wrong order. Garnet first means he's not going to be able to flex it as an out to Mystic Mine.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Play going back to Giovanni here. We're going to see a normal summon of Marionetter. We're going to set the copy of Manifestation now. Again, we're still low on monsters here. Marionetter going to just crash into the Oviraptor so that Giovanni has no monsters on his field. And then during the end phase, we go to discard, getting rid of a Pot of Extravagance. We might actually go... There's the Cosmic Cyclone.
Finally.
Okay, so he was on it. Wow, okay. This is... but there's the Judgment. Oh, my God.
Right, just a matter of who finds what first.
Yeah, and again, I mean, looking at Giovanni's back row, he had so much setup.
He's got to be playing more than one Cyclone.
Right, that's the thing. I mean, I don't feel like... I mean, to be fair, some people do just play like that one of out to Mystic Mine, but I mean, again, you're Dino, you're going second, Eldritch is everywhere. I don't feel like you would just be on the one either, but... Who knows? We'll see if he can get to the other one in time before another Judgment gets set, which most likely it probably did, but... Just passing back again, discarding Extravagance again. The such a powerful card, but not in this particular instance. All
Another
right, here it
Cosmic,
comes.
let's find out.
Is it gonna stick? The second
Nope.
Solemn Judgment.
I hate this kind of game, but I think
man.
2 would be a reasonable amount to expect in the main deck. If I was the Dino player, I would consider scooping here. Also possible that they have a potential out still remaining, but obviously their play will determine it. I would really hate if that card was infinite impermanence, I'll tell you that.
It's interesting that Jake is now deciding to link off his board into Unicorn.
Oh, that's an evenly matched. They're making Unicorn, so the evenly matched will hit harder.
So duality now from Giovanni here. There's an imperm, which is nice. I guess you could put that in the middle column to potentially negate whatever that card might be, because again, it's Dinosaur. I don't know exactly what back row they'd be playing otherwise. We're going to see a Melusi come down here. This could also dispatch of that quite easily, and we can just spoofing anything away, so that's fine. Jake will take the 500. We're going to send away the evenly matched, it looks like.
As expected. They're going to go for a Conchieri here in order to keep their board slim, and yikes, this is not good.
You know, one of the things I will say about Altergeist, having the ability to have mine up with spoofing and shuffle away your Meluseek every turn while chipping away at your opponent's resources, I think, you know, if you're going to play something with mine in it, that is a very good interaction for your deck to have.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Kagari, in that, like, you can finagle a win condition through mine by just attacking repeatedly and then destroying your own monster with something like a multi-roll. It just takes a lot longer because 500 is less than 1500.
Right, so here we go. Just a set from Jake here. We're getting down to very low deck count here. We're just seeing a pass from Giovanni, and we're going to link off both of or we're going to tribute, excuse me, for Pankratops. And Pankratops, I mean...
Pank is insane. I mean, now you can't normal summon Meluseek for the remainder of the game, or you immediately tribute Pankratops to out the Mystic Mine.
But the problem is, Jake has one less card in deck, so, like, does that matter? I mean...
Yeah, no, certainly you stop summoning Meluseek, but you're still winning the game because of deck size.
I mean, here we go. Jake with only a single card left. We're just going down here. What is that? The third and final Cosmic Cyclone? And no, it looks like Jake is scooping up game one. Wow.
Folks, you hate to see it. Mystic Mine, fair, balanced card, leads to... For what it's worth, that was a very interesting game state.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we see a lot of the times that people just drop down Mystic Mine, and that is immediately the end of the game because most people don't have any way to deal with it. But, I mean, for what it's worth, Jake handled that exceptionally well given the circumstances. If there was a world where Giovanni did not have a judgment to deal with, or excuse me, 2 judgments to deal with 2 Cyclones, like they could have been tucked on the bottom of his deck, Jake could have perfectly easily walked away with that.
Oh, yeah. If you're looking to improve your play in any capacity, do consider how you will play against Mystic Mine when it resolves, because it's such a fundamentally different kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! That people usually aren't prepared for, and they really, really, unfortunately, end up in scenarios where they deck themselves out because they're not managing their resources effectively. Like, it separates good players against Mine versus bad players against Mine.
And so now we're seeing a particularly interesting board here. We had the Petit Pteranodon come down here. Cosmic Cyclone banishing the Set Solemn Strike. Now we're using the replacement effect of Lost World to destroy our Baby Ceratosaurus from deck, getting us an Oviraptor. And then this is allowing us to use Oviraptor now to send the Giant Rex, what it looked like. We're going to destroy our Petit Pteranodon to get Babysaurus back to the field. And now we just get to combo off here. We're not in the battle phase anymore. We're not going to be OTKing, but we do get at least some sort of setup here.
There's a couple of extremely good interactions that are about to occur. Obviously, things like evenly matched are off because the Geist player has a token on their side of the field. Looks like the Giant Rex was sent over the Miscellaneousaurus to, as expected, enable an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno summon. Oh, and at the last possible moment, Dolka really would have done it. The Dinosaur player going, of course.
Unbelievable. I mean, things were looking so hopeful for Jake there, but of course, Nibiru, just like how the Dinosaurs got wiped out the first time, just taking care of it.
So, hilariously, this is not the end of the game.
I know.
Lost World enables a ton of absolutely ridiculous plays with Nibiru specifically. The token is normal, and you can protect it with the effect of Lost World, so if your opponent goes to remove it, you can go into another Oviraptor and pop off further.
Notably, the token has over 10,000 attack and 5,000 defense.
Good, good.
If there's a way to one-shot Giovanni, that's it. That's a way.
Well, actually, it only has a 9,900 attack because of the effect of Lost World.
Excuse me. Yes, so it is slightly under 10,000 after that. My apologies.
Yeah, get your facts straight.
Oh no, mind control on Nibiru. Is this going to be a one-shot with the token?
This is hilarious. I mean,
No
if
way.
that's the end of the game. Okay, well, spoofing is going to get multi-faker, and we're unfortunately going to have to play it out.
Oh my god, that would have been so poetic if that were to resolve that way, but unfortunately not. So Quiddies is going to hit the board, special summon off Multi-Faker. We're going to remove the token because it's getting bounced from the Quiddies. And now Mind Control finishes resolving during the end phase, or rather expires, and now Nibiru switches back control to Giovanni here. Oh, it's rough.
That's painful. We're going to spoofing away this copy of Multi-Faker for a Marionetter, and really just going through the motions here. That was just a devastating course of events, and you can't help but think that one miscellaneous source would have turned this entire game around.
I know, like, that was incredible, and I was just waiting for the one-shot from that Nibiru token, but unfortunately it did not pan out that way. Only 2 cards in hand for Jake here. I mean, again, unless he has, like, exactly Evenly or Lightning Storm, this is going to be very rough for him to come back from.
Yeah,
I
can't even do either of those because of the face-up Lost World.
Oh, you're right, absolutely, so that's not even an option either. We see the GGs from Jake, and that is going to do it. Giovanni moving on with a 7-0 record in the Crush Card Cup. Showing a very, very powerful demonstration of Altergeist. We might be seeing Altergeist in the top cut, Joseph.
No, for sure. I mean, not only an extremely powerful demonstration of Altergeist, but also an extremely reserved style of gameplay, clearly a practiced player under Mystic Mine.
Absolutely. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you in the next match.